Hi folks, it's 3/29/22. My name is, I go by Diamond Coach Curtis on YouTube. I have a channel that helps people when they go to the Crater of Diamonds in Murphyboro, Arkansas to find diamonds. And I basically try to coach, talk about game plans and things like that. But I also go crystal hunting at Mount Ida. I've been to Twin Creek, Crystal Vista, and I got to go on a private dig. What happened is you go find these crystals. So most of this topic is on crystals, some things I've done with the crystals. Specifically, I wanted to do something with the very small ones that I got off a cluster, these type crystals. But this is also going to be an unpacking, a review of the material that I bought, some equipment supplies after watching YouTubers. What you see in front of you is about a little over $100 worth of UV cured resin products. These can be used to do pour, so we'll kind of go through that. What kind of led me to this was as I've wire wrapped some of my nicer crystals, and I've learned how to do that, and I've used sterling silver, square wire, round wire, brass wire. There's a lot to that. So when you go on your trip and you have something to do with them, and I had a lot of these little smaller points, if you can see that are just beautiful little water clear points. They come off of, a lot of times they'll come off of what's a cluster. This is not my biggest cluster, but it's a nice cluster that I find. It's a process of cleaning the cluster. When these are normally be covered in a lot of clay. This came off the private dig that I've got to do in the Ouachita Forest. But I also got some from Twin Creek and, like I said, Crystal Vista. That when a little point breaks off, that's what we're called. It's quartz, and you can see some of these are water clear, and then some of it'll be white. These are really, it's nice hobby. That's been a lot of my story. As a hobby leads to a hobby. And so I started wire wrapping. I can do more videos on wire wrapping and show you what I did, even including soldering, soft soldering some of the pieces. But what happened was, I'd show you my mess, but real quick, my fly tying epoxy. Fly tying involves a UV epoxy, but the characteristics of those epoxies are soft, flexible, and hard. And so the one thing you want to know about this jewelry making with UV resin is you cure it with a UV light. And so a quick thing that I learned even from the fly tying is your UV light strengths are all different. So this is a 365 nano, and it really does help cure because it's a much stronger light. This was off of Amazon. I can use that to preset some of the things, but your light matters. And that was one of the first reviews in this equipment reveal. And like I said, I've done some things with it, but not with this particular kit. So one of the YouTubers suggested at least a 52 watt UV light. This is what you use for nails. It's the most expensive part I bought out of this $100 budget. And it's automatically, when you put your senses something, this is how we're going to cure the UV light. And it has 60, 80, and 99 second timer as you're curing. This, a lot of the kits I see are little small lights. So because I did the fly tying and I know about the curing, I decided that I would go with a better light and not what I would find a kit. You can find some little kits for about $30 that you could start with. But I learned, try to pick some of the material out that's a little bit better, like the UV glue, the UV resin. This type here was recommended by a YouTuber, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, but she said this was good stuff. This will also sun cure. So it was around $14, $15 a bottle. And so I went with that, and that's 120 grams. So what I did, like I said, is I ordered several things that I thought I would use. Here's some pieces that before I got this kit, I've got these these bezels. These were empty bezels, and I put a crystal in it. This is actually the fly tying UV resin, which when I cured it with the light was still tacky, but that's an example of a crystal. And that is basically just a Sharpie marker to give me the blue around to give me some coloring. But this was just my test phase. Here's Walmart. I got the bezel from Walmart. I had the earring clip, and I put this little crystal cluster in there. You'll see I have those little points, and I had several of those left over, put them in a jar. So I made an earring. Another Walmart bezel find. This was actually a bracelet type deal, and I did cut out a centerpiece, and again I used the fly tying bezel, but it's a way to display the crystal. And the crystal people that are into the spiritual aspect and the aromatic, you know, as far as their healing powers, I get you when you don't like to have anything on the crystal. That's why you probably love, you know, I try to keep my wrap simple and allow that crystal shine and natural beauty to be the piece. You can get into crystal wrapping and doing some spectacular wraps. That's like another level. But I'm just going to go over the kit. One thing I'm going to cover about UV, the UV resin is you can't fill, you don't want to try to use UV resin in a mold like this that came in the kit. I do have resin pouring 2-part resin, and that's where you can add your little flowers and things. I won't be using anything like this. And being Diamond Coach Curtis, what was cool is this kit, and I saw this at Hobby Lobby. I haven't visited Michael, but these are actually little diamonds, so I may be able to do some kind of promotional thing for my Diamond Coach and crystal hunting video. I don't know what I'll even call this channel, if I'll just attach it to my Diamond Coach Curtis. I also like to do a little life coaching, and that's really about encouraging people in all aspects. Just like this, you know, it took me probably 2 or 3 days of watching videos, and I believe that anything you put your mind to, you can learn. I may not do it perfect, make mistakes. It's okay. Have fun. I am a widower, so that's led me to doing a lot more hobbies and drawing and painting, and it gives me something to do to occupy my mind. So all this stuff basically came from Amazon, and I'll cover a couple things. You've got these separate molds, then you have some of this stuff. There is a way to do it with balloons, not even sure, but these molds are little pop-out molds. They have a little hole where you can make an earring, keychain. This kit came with, or one of the kits came with earring and keychain holders. Then I went to this bezel. This was a lot like what I found at Hobby Lobby. I like the little teardrop, and I've even used these for wire wrapping, and I'll wrap the wire in. But I'm going to try to use some of these with the UV resin. And so here you got a key ring, got a round, and then there was a triangle shape. Package. One of the kits came with the little screw-in eyes. You basically can, before you cure it, put it in and cure it real quick. You're going to want some of this tape. This came in part of the kit. I bought another roll of tape here. This is resin tape with the sticky. That's to seal this bezel, open bezels. You put it sticky side up, and then you can get it, helps seal it, and keeps it from moving around. I bought, I've got the big roll of resin tape. We'll see how well it works. I bought some Magic Fly resin pigment. You can put the pigment in. It came with a little mixing bowl. And I believe this little stirrer came in that as well. But you want to put your resin in here first and mix your color, then pour it. And you want to start like I'm not going to do at this point. I may add just doing a couple of these, but you want to start with a little bit in there and lightly cure it, and then build in layers. I also like these little earring posts. I'm going to try and put little crystals on it, different sizes. Earrings seem to be pretty popular with the ladies, and hopefully keychains. As I was sitting here, you know, I can even put I can put some other things in there. I'll create those things and maybe share those later. Maybe some man things, something a man would like on a keychain. The one kit did come with, actually, this is actually a bottle opener in the mold. And then you have all these different shapes. You do different colors. You can put dried flowers. You can do a lot with it. But anyway, this is my start. Just got started here. You're looking at about $100 worth of material that I did get from Amazon. And I'm going to get to putting some little crystals somewhere and test out and see what I'm doing. So enjoy. I'm going to put this away, and I may include it on this video, or stay tuned for the next as I learn with you, or you learn with me, or we learn together. And it's Craft Curtis, Coach, Craft Coach Curtis, Diamond Coach Curtis, Life Coach Curtis. Have fun out there. Don't sit home being bored. Hopefully you can do these things in a budget and use your mind. And who knows, you might be the next millionaire. Okay, so folks, this is the set of earrings. It's two crystals. One's kind of a cluster and one's more of a single in a cluster. But it's a little earring set. Pretty in pink. And worked pretty good. And I'm going to be enjoying this for a long time, I can see. Next I'll do the bezel. Okay, folks, so this is on the first little crystal. I elected to use one of these. I apologize, I don't have the equipment set up to where I can hold this, but let me go through the process. I use my little silicone mixing cup. There's a pipette that came with, I believe it was one of the mold kits and the mixing deal. So I put a little bit of epoxy in here, and you really got to shake this. You can still see there's still pieces in the bottom, so really shake these Magic Fly pigments up. But it was probably about 2 little drops. There is a on this, I punctured the tip of this with the pen, so it's a very fine tip, and I punctured it with a pen, or actually I punctured it with one of my tools I use in fly tying. It's pretty cool, like a little awl, a pick. There was a little pick that came with again, part of one of the kits had a little tooling set. But anyway, so I mixed that in. What I did is I put just a little bit of resin in the bottom, and I coated it. And so far, I coated this with just a little bit. I actually used my 365 nano light just to quick cure it, just to give it a quick set. And then I added a crystal, and this is what it looks like now finished. So I put a little bit in to get you focused. My lighting may not be the best either. So I put a little bit in. Then I put another fresh drop. Now here's one thing where I'm thinking it'd be nice to have a syringe with a very fine point needle, so that you can get into these little cracks and crevices and do the detail work. I don't know if that's focusing very well for you. But anyway, that was the finished product. This is just a magic eraser. Again, I use a lot of things for fly tying or other deals, but this magic eraser. And so what I'm going to do now is I've got it set. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to set the timer for 60 seconds. That'd be 1 minute cure time. And you can see your little baby in there curing. So we'll let it cure for that 60 seconds. And it times down. There's not a lot of resin, but it does get hot. This is a 52 watt light. I can see somebody wanting to use this doing nails. But it's a lot of uses for UV light, UV epoxy. But it'll finish, and then we're off to the next one. I've already taped the bezel. I'm going to do 2 of the earrings. I'm going to put another different crystal, but this is what I was talking about. The sticky side is up, and you feel that, and you can put a nice cluster in there. And we'll see, and we're doing pretty in pink. Breast cancer awareness, ladies. My wife had breast cancer that went into her lung. So get your mammograms and your test. We caught it a little too late. 12 centimeter tumor. She lasted 2.5 years. So it's kind of a dedication to Ruth Jones, Pretty in Pink, breast cancer awareness. And take care of yourself, ladies.